Keir Starmer's reluctance, a shadow over justice for grooming gang victims? As public concern mounts over the abuse of thousands of teenage girls by grooming gangs in the UK, Labour leader Keir Starmer finds himself at the centre of a storm for opposing calls for a fresh national inquiry into these crimes. Critics are questioning whether his reluctance stems from his own record as a public prosecutor, raising difficult questions about accountability and justice. The calls for a new inquiry. The push for a comprehensive investigation into grooming gangs, predominantly composed of Pakistani men in several high-profile cases, has grown louder. Victims, families, and activists demand a transparent national inquiry to address systemic failures that allowed such widespread abuse to occur. The issue is not just about prosecuting offenders, but examining how police forces, social services, and judicial systems failed to protect vulnerable girls. Reports of authorities turning a blind eye to avoid accusations of racism have added fuel to the fire, intensifying demands for an independent probe. Starmer's reluctance. Keir Starmer, once the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, from 2008 to 2013, has expressed opposition to a new inquiry, citing that enough investigations have already been conducted. However, many question whether his stance is influenced by concerns about revisiting his own decisions as DPP. During his tenure, significant cases involving grooming gangs came under scrutiny for slow progress and, in some instances, perceived leniency. Critics argue that Starmer's opposition could be an attempt to avoid reopening these wounds and potentially exposing flaws in his leadership at the time. A legacy under the spotlight. While Starmer has championed himself as a defender of justice and fairness, his reluctance to back a fresh inquiry casts a shadow over his commitment to addressing past failings. Many victims and advocates believe that justice has yet to be fully served. One victim, now in her 30s, told Wirenet International News, "We were failed not just by the perpetrators, but by the very system meant to protect us. We need answers, and we need accountability." The larger debate. Starmer's stance also raises questions about political priorities. Some see his reluctance as part of a broader effort to avoid alienating key voter demographics. Others believe it reflects an unwillingness to confront the uncomfortable truths about institutional complacency. Meanwhile, public outcry continues to grow, with many urging Starmer and the government to prioritize justice for the victims over political considerations. What's next? The debate over grooming gang inquiries isn't just about the past, it's about the future of justice and the trust citizens place in their leaders. Will Keir Starmer reconsider his stance under mounting pressure, or will this controversy continue to haunt his political career? Stay informed with Wirenet International News. For calm.